ages.
Yeah, we've been away. We did our live podcast. We did a live podcast at the weekend just gone, so it feels like we've been away for ages. And well, that's our hour. I'm Nick Noyes. This is Brad Action, and
Howdy.
we've got a guest.
Hello, this is Simon.
Simon
Yay.
Murphy, our friend.
Thanks
chap.
very much. Yeah, how's it going?
Yeah, good.
I've known Simon for more than 5 years, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's probably about 7 years.
Yeah, around
something like that.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I've known you quite well, actually, in that time.
We haven't seen much of each other, but you've heard things about me, and I've heard
Yeah,
things about you. Probably,
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it don't feel like it's been that long, really.
Yeah.
It's like I've tattooed all of your family.
You left your
Tattooed
mark,
everyone.
haven't you? Like, obviously on all of us, but
Yeah, I have. I really have. Yeah, I really have.
I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. I did Simon a massive back piece.
Yeah.
yeah. It's a big stag.
Stag
Oh,
skull.
nice.
Yeah.
Proper, like, dark fucking... Which is funny because you don't... Like,
Don't seem
you're
like
far
it.
from a goth, are you?
Well, you know, we'll talk about it later.
You like dark shit, though.
Yeah.
So basically, so Simon, I've known that you've had issues with mental health for a long time, really.
Okay.
I haven't known any particular details, but I've known you have. And then you messaged me kind of out of nowhere, really, and said, and it was really sweet actually, because you kind of you said. You kind of gave me a bit of a story on the message you sent me about like some of the more extreme stuff that's happened as a result of your mental health stuff.
Yeah.
And then you went, oh yeah, and if you want to share it on the podcast, that's cool. And I was like, well, do you just want to come on and talk about it? Because it's otherwise, I just thought like if you wanted to, then you totally could. Is
Yeah,
what I was
yeah.
saying really. And then you were like, oh yeah, I would kind of like to talk about it.
Yeah.
So what's kind of taken you from the point of not really talking about it to wanting to talk about it potentially quite publicly?
I think I never used to tell people at all about the fact I've been ill at all or any of the things I've done until probably about only like 3 or 4 years ago. And I've been ill for 25 years. That's the first time I started getting ill 25 years ago. And so basically, I didn't want to talk about it. So gradually I used to tell people, I thought it might help if I talk about it a little bit to people. So people I sort of trusted, or I don't really trust that many people, I started talking to it about it. And then as mental health started getting a bit more talked about in recent 1 or 2 years. And so when you had this podcast out, I just thought, well, you might be interested. I sort of trusted you, you know, and Helen's a good mate of yours, my wife and all that. So I thought I'd send you that message. You know, I thought you might be interested because you said you wanted to have some stories. So
Yeah. Kind of, and if I'm totally honest, I was really honoured when you did kind of reach out to me like that, and the fact that you wanted to talk about it. Not just the fact that you wanted to talk about it, but the fact that you kind of talked to me about it. You know, that meant loads to me. You know, there's no I thought it was amazing. So that's why I was like, well, if you want to come on, you can come on any time. Although we had to cancel on you one time, and it's taken a little bit of sorting out, but you're here. So you said, do you want to kind of talk us through it a bit then? So what I was thinking, do you want to start at the beginning then? So 25 years.
yeah, so well, basically, I did
How old are you now, Si?
I'm 46.
Right.
So it's when I had my first breakdown when I was 19.
Right.
So about 25 years ago, isn't it? I think.
Yeah.
So basically, I was doing a degree. I'd done an HND. I went directly into the second year of a degree, and then basically, when I come back from my degree after that second year, I was going to start an industrial placement for a year in an office doing PC support. And then that weekend that I came back, I went away for a weekend on I think it's the Bug Jam. It's like a Volkswagen.
I've
thing.
played
yeah.
Bug Jam.
Yeah, I like
Yeah. No, it was like an event like Beatles and that.
Santa Pod.
Yeah, Santa Pod.
I
Yeah.
played a gig there.
I thought you meant you thought it was a game or something.
No, I played a gig there.
Yeah, so it was a lot of drinking beer and smoking cannabis and joints and stuff like that. So I got involved in a bit of that, and then the next week I was all right. I felt quite chilled out because I had a good weekend and I smoked a bit. Went away another weekend. I think it was called KDF with a few mates, and then did the same thing. But on the Sunday, I was smoking, and suddenly I felt not right.
Had you not smoked much, like, ganja before that?
Only now, no, not at all. Only now and again.
Right, so this was the first time you smoked any kind of quantity.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So and then I started my job. I'd done 1 week of my job. Oh yeah, I had a panic attack. I saw the first ever panic attack I had. I think it was the stress of the job and it was like full-time work, and I wasn't really used to that. So, but as the 6 months that I managed to work there went on, I felt more and more that I was going mad. And what I say is, when people say you don't know if you're going, people that are going mad don't know it. Yeah. Well, I did. I knew. I thought, well, because I think at the time, I think it was a lot of anxiety and stress and stuff. I didn't know. I had no idea what that was, anything about that. And I started going to counselling as well because I was having issues with my family and stuff like that. Anyway, so when it got to Christmas, because I started my placement in June, I ended up moving out of home because I was having issues with mum and dad and having arguments and stuff like that. And then I moved into a mate's house from school that I'd met earlier. I'd met around that time again, and he needed a lodger, so he ended up chucking me out. And I was out with all my stuff in my van. I couldn't go home. Stressful situation again. Yeah. Driving around, and I got stopped by the police because one of my lights was out. And then later on in the night, I was driving, I don't know, towards Chelmsford. I lived in Billericay, and I think I had this cactus, I remember, and I wanted a drink, and I had no money. I sort of I was in a bit of a state already. Yeah. And I put this cactus on this person's doorstep. Rang the bell, walked away. I opened the door and I said, "If you give me a glass of water, you can have my cactus." Oh. So they phoned the police again.
Oh really? Look at that.
Yeah. I would have been like, "Yeah, all right, mate, no worries."
Was it in the middle of the night?
Yeah, it was like. So anyway, so I ended up getting stopped by police. They tried to stop me. They put the lights on, and I just booted it away from them. I was in my escort van, not Essex boy escort van. And anyway, and then by the time I got back, so they were chasing me, and by the time I got to Billericay, my mate who I saw afterwards, when I was well afterwards, he said there were 7 police cars chasing me.
Fucking hell.
Yeah. So I went across, Billericay South Green, you know the green in where the South Green is. It's a big green anyway, and I drove all the way across that. I drove past all my mates' houses, because I thought I was great, because I was having all these police cars chasing me and all this sort of stuff. And I drove up the hill, through Billericay High Street, and I remember thinking, everything's the same, the cars are the same distance apart, and everything's in a system and all this sort of stuff. And it's not right, and I was trying to break out of this, trying to almost hit cars and things like that. And then anyway, so to cut a long story shorter anyway, I drove down to the industrial bit where Lake Meadows is, and I tried to turn back round, but the police car hit me. I think my head must have hit the windscreen of my van, because there was like smashing it afterwards, and then they took me to the hospital. I remember trying to open the electric windows with my arm and things like that, and I think previous to that, in the daytime, I was driving around thinking I was Jesus. Like before I got chucked out of my mate's flat, I actually thought I was Christ, And when
you really weren't well at that point.
No.
But what's it's because you basically kind of gone from totally fine to really stressed, and then maybe that all of that stress. Because I think most things like that, like so you were diagnosed with bipolar, and I think like that schizophrenia and a lot of mental health problems are very common around that 19 and early 20s period. And what you were describing there, like that totally can happen, is that it will just kind of come from nowhere. There's no real build up to it, but it just hits. But there was a bit of a build up because earlier in the day you thought you were Jesus.
Yeah. I was driving about and other people was in the car. You know, when you look at other people in the car and you just, I don't know about you, but most people just see it as a person. But I was sort of thinking, I can see they're smiling because they know it's me. They know I'm here. Yeah. And the sun, because it was like low sun in the winter, you know, where it's like quite that sort of effect of like it being, and all this sort
like
of stuff.
Hazy kind of thing,
yeah. And also it's Christmas, and in my mate's flat before I got in my van, I was like, he did protective clothing and stuff, and he had these gloves, and I put these gloves on, and I was like adjusting the Christmas tree, you know, when you fold them out, thinking I was like, you know, this amazing person, you know. But I'm thinking I was on film as well. I thought it was all being filmed, you know. That all my mates, the whole of Billericay could see me, and
so it's that kind of like that, right? Like you were completely distant from reality, but it all feels real. So it's almost like proper tripping out kind of thing. Feels real, but it's not real. Because like when you're describing driving, it's like you're kind of, it's that, but it's not that. But like for you at that time, like that's how it's all making sense.
Yeah, it's sort of, it's like when I say that before you go, because I've been high other times, and it can be a trick of your brain, and you can see a really tempting thing to do this thing. But then further on down the road, it turns into a nightmare. Like, for instance, I ended up crashed into by a police car in a police station and then taken to a mental health unit at the time. But it was the first time I'd ever started to go high, been ill or anything like that. So I had no way of stopping it, you know.
So that is basically your extreme high of bipolar.
Yeah.
But it sounds really fucking trippy as well, though, doesn't it? It sounds like
it's
not just like, because like, you know, I'd think, right, it's like doing cocaine or speed, like you're up and you feel good, but it's more than that.
Yeah, it's like other times when I've been high. I can't remember what I was going to say actually, but I think it's like it gives you. Yeah, it's a right buzz. You know, it's a really good experience, and when you're talking about it now, it makes me feel like it gives me that sort of. You probably seem I'm more excited, you know, because it's all those things. Not that I'm going to end up doing it, but it's sort of like that was an amazing thing. And actually, what I was going to say is that when I was in hospital, I had to go in hospital, and soon after that, I had to go into hospital again. That going high was something that I seeked because I was low, like. We're saying about depression and stuff like that. If you're you're depressed for a couple of years, and your mind just wants to escape from that, and then it's a cycle, you see, and to get out, and I have to get out of this cycle. You know?
Is it like chasing the adrenaline buzz kind of thing?
In a way, yeah.
Especially when you're feeling really shit. If you're feeling shit all the time, it's like I would drink and take drugs to not feel shit all the time.
Yeah.
But again, like, then I'd feel doubly shit the next day. But yeah, I still did it because I didn't want to feel like shit anymore. So it's like, you just keep yo-yoing.
Yeah.
But is it like, but could you get to a point when you're like, you could bring it on a bit? You know, like you could kind of go, you could almost like egg yourself on to have the high.
Yeah.
So then you don't feel like shit.
Yeah.
And part of the managing is I can't let myself do that.
Yeah, it's to be stable. If I want to hold down a job and have a normal life, have like kids and a normal life and all that, I've got to be stable as I can. So that's why I don't have caffeine. That's why, I've been drinking water. That's why I've worked on myself and then all these techniques to stop myself doing it. Yeah. Otherwise, I'd be in the same cycle. I mean, a lot of it was going out of the cycle of getting in with the same group of mates who are into sort of, maybe smoking cannabis and, going to mad nightclubs and all being a bit mad and, all. And then when I stopped doing that, because every time I got ill, because I was in hospital before 2003 was the last time, about 7 or 8 times. And each time I end up, except for last year, I got back in the same cycle, back with the same lot of mates, doing the same sort of things. Not necessarily drugs, but sort of just the same sort of like, yeah, we're mad, we're that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And then I went a bit, then I end up going along the wrong path again. But it's so hard not to. And obviously, like when I met Helen, she really helped me to sort of do a lot of this sort of stuff. But yeah.
So when you first went into hospital, when you first went in, what did they say to you?
Well, for a start, when I went to hospital, I had to be wheeled in because I could hardly walk. Because another thing I did in that period, I think I walked from Billericay to Basildon, and I was just walking about for ages, and so they when I they had to wheel me in, and I think I was sort of running about trying to get away from them because they were trying to inject me with this stuff, and they got me in a room eventually, and I remember staying on the bed. I mean, I can still remember, even though I was sort of unwell, and they had to inject me, and I think I lost like a certain amount of time, a few days or a week of my life, because they'd give me so much stuff,
tranquilizers just to fucking stop you.
Yeah. So, and then gradually, as I came to, I didn't know where I was. I just gradually coming off each day. Perhaps I reduced it a bit. This medication. There's just really weird stuff where, when I think I was feeling like I was crying blood and all this G stuff and thinking about family.
Yeah, it must be.
Well, it's traumatic, certainly. Yeah, and then like there was a line across the. First thing I can sort of really properly remember is there was a yellow line across the hallway, and you weren't allowed to go past it. I wasn't allowed to go past that. So I said, but I can't remember saying, I want to go to the shop. I want to buy some stuff for myself because I've got nothing. I've got where is everyone, And then because what it is, they allow you more and more freedom as you get more and more well. Yeah. So it is a bit like being in prison, really.
Well, that gives you a reason to work on it.
Yeah, I suppose, and also it's sort of safety to stop you escaping. But anyway, but then I remember going to sort of the day room, and then there's been people there, and I thought they were different members of my family for some reason, because I think my brain was trying to sort of make sense of what the hell was going on.
Rationalise it, kind of thing.
Yeah, because I was sort of wondering what was going on,
So what was going on with your family? Did they come in and see you? Well, they must have been freaked out.
Yeah, they did. They did come and see me. One awful thing was, I think, when I had the injection, but I was on this. Well, they put me on this depot injection. It's called for. I think it's probably once a week in there. And my dad come to see me, and I was arched over one way because the side effects of the medication. They put me on and he came along and he looked. I remember him looking really upset, but I was really unwell, so eventually they put me on a different type of medication, so I didn't do that so much. I didn't do that really, but they come to visit me and helped me and bought me clothes, and then they tried to, as much as they could, get me home. Maybe a bit too much to get me home because I escaped a couple of times.
Fucking hell. So you must have been right, like, even in the midst of them, like, giving you tranquilizers, giving you depot injections, like, that's like that's probably like your antipsychotics.
That's it.
Since they were giving you all of that, but yet you were still pretty much like on the high, really, as in you were basically kind of hallucinating, and like you were. I've forgotten what the word is.
Psychosis, you mean?
Yeah, it's like psychosis, but there's a word for when you're disconnected from reality.
Did it seem like rational to you? Were you kind of? Did you have any moments where you were sort of sitting there thinking, "Oh, like I am where I am, and this is happening to me, and I'm aware of it," or did it seem just like a whole other like world, or did you have?
Like, you know, you can see all right. I mean, you can see everything all right, and you can sort of use your body and all that sort of stuff, but you got no idea what you're doing, and a lot of the things that you're doing are coming from your subconscious, maybe, or somewhere in you that is just that perhaps, you know, that's been suppressed or whatever. I don't know, but yeah, it's just sort of like what it is when it happens. These things, it's your brain being like being connected in the wrong way. It's like you got too many messages being sent. What medication does, it just reduces the amount of messages so they don't get short circuited. So that's why, because if I wasn't on medication now, because I'm on a similar medication now still to what I was then, but not on injection, but like in tablet form.
Yeah.
Then it just reduces the amount. So sometimes people a lot of the time feel used to, well, years back when I first was ill, there's a lot of sedated people. People used to be falling asleep, and I was like that as well. It's not so bad now. They've come a bit further. But a lot of the time you can feel like a little bit sedated because they need to put enough so you don't have this too many messages flying about. You know?
I get that with meds. Normally, if I change or I up, or especially if I change, like, have quite a big change, I feel quite sedated and I feel really sleepy. But then I also feel really sleepy because, like, when you're depressed, that makes me really, because your brain's fighting you all the time, so it makes you tired.
It's hard to know what it is sometimes, isn't it?
It's nicer to be able to just go, oh, that's the pills. When I went to see occupational health, and they said, are you tired all the time? I was like, yeah, I'm fucking tired. I could go to sleep anywhere, anytime. And they're like, because your brain is doing much more than it should be doing.
Yeah.
Because you're basically fighting everything all day. So, yeah, you'll be tired all the time. And they said loads of different things like that. I'm like, fucking hell, yeah. And it made me feel so much better because, you know, I always just like apologising to my wife because I'm tired. Like, I don't know why I'm so tired, and I'm tired because I'm ill.
Yeah.
You know. So, so after that, then, did they diagnose you then?
They just said that first one, because I was in hospital for 2 months with that.
Okay, that's quite a long time.
And they said that's just a breakdown, so you should be all right. It should be a one-off.
That's
breakdown.
got a term. I know someone who had a breakdown, like not as extreme, but along those lines, and it's like a temporal something or other. That can happen. Yeah.
It's funny because the terminology, like people say, "Oh, I'm having a bit of a breakdown today," or whatever. But an actual breakdown has got an actual form, like a structure, isn't it?
I know when I've had a breakdown. Or I know when I'm having a bad day, you know? And like when people say I had a breakdown, I'm like, yeah, you didn't have a fucking breakdown. You're like running around on the floor, grabbing your head, screaming, like uncontrollably all day.
Yeah.
You ain't had a breakdown.
Yeah, it was the second time I was in hospital where they diagnosed me bipolar, because it's only on the second time they can diagnose that.
Yeah, it
because
makes
they
sense.
can't tell by the first time, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because for a couple of years after that, coming out of that hospital that time, I was very low for a couple of years, and it's like that was torturous. That was the worst lows I've had, because I had no mates then. Suddenly, I had nobody. All I had was mum and dad. Brother was young and he was doing his own thing, and then my mates they did come and see me, actually, a load of them in the hospital, but a lot of them, yeah, so I didn't see any of them.
It's quite scary, like, it's scary for other people, especially if people haven't been through anything like that. It's quite, like, as much as I still think it's really cuntish, but like, people do
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand it. But it's still out of order. Like, you should fucking see through shit like that, because that's when you're at your lowest possible ebb. If someone just come round and just went, "How you doing?" I thought I'd just pop in for a cup of tea. 10 minutes.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Or even a quick phone call or a text
Yeah.
message, just like, "You all right? Yeah,
Yeah.
no," and that's
Or
all
like,
it takes.
yeah.
I just think though, even now, a lot of people, most people only want to see you when they want something. You know, a lot of the time.
Yeah,
unless you're
or
lucky enough to have.
they want someone to go out with.
Yeah.
I was talking about this today, like friends who are like, they're your best mate, because you've got something for them. It might not be anything physical. It might be like they just don't want to do shit on their own.
Yeah.
And then when it actually all goes wrong, they're like, they're not there, or they're not interested.
Yeah.
Disappear.
Yeah.
And I think that probably describes 90% of friendships.
Yeah.
In fairness, like, and I also think sometimes that's fair enough as well.
Yeah.
But it's really shit when everyone just backs off. I mean, that's happened to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, each time I've got well, I got back in with the same bunch, but I found when I get ill, I didn't want to know until I was right again. So I didn't see that as. I realised actually I don't really want mates like that.
So did it take you a while to realise that?
Yeah,
though?
it took
It
me a
does,
while.
doesn't it?
But as soon as I got well, and I stopped going back with those lot, I progressed. I was more stable. I was doing different things.
But as you said, if they were like, "Well, let's have a mad one," and then basically that's just plugging straight into your fucking your highs, and you need much more equal level grounding, don't you?
Just stay in.
Yeah, it gets a bit boring, doesn't it? I've certainly had my long periods of staying in. So the other thing I was interested in then, so like the way that I kind of understand bipolar is that you have these highs and then you have the crushing lows, but you don't seem like you're having crushing lows. You seem like pretty middling.
Yeah, I mean, normally when I'm out and about, I'm pretty much okay. I mean, I think I'm the same with a lot of people. If they don't show their true self to the public when they're at home on their own, it's and I still not so bad recently, but every morning find I've got a load of negative thoughts in my head. Yeah. I'm worried and all sort of stuff. And I have to constantly, sometimes laying in bed, I have to think of some positive stuff or think about positive stuff about myself, or just like basically sort of force myself to go to work and things like that. But I find actually work days are better because I've got a proper goal to something to go out for, and I have to be there. I have to be all right for work. I have to be stable. On my days off, I normally have a lay in, get up, and I can take for a long time. It takes me ages to get ready and to get washed, something decent to eat. And once I'm out, it's I'm all right, I think. But it's just.
I have to say, I'm exactly the same. I'm exactly the same. Once I'm up, like, because work, as much as often I really don't want to go to work actually really sorts me out. Because, like, you got to get up, you got to go. In the morning, I wake up, and I have gone through good periods lately. I find myself going back, where I'm like, I wake up in the morning and I just think I just want to die straight away. Because the worst possible thing could be getting up. And I'm like, and I love, and my dreams are so vivid and lovely that I just want to be in my dreams. I don't want to be in the world. And it's like, and then I'm like, oh, well, I'm a fucking piece of shit. Why don't I want to get up? So I go through that every morning. Yeah. And then, but once I'm up and out, I'm all right. And I had loads of coffee, and I'm basically trying to push myself up. Yeah. So I drink loads of coffee because it's like, right, kick myself up the arse and move. And then I'm all right. And I find, and I have to, if I get to work and I'm quiet, it takes me a lot longer to get to that point when I'm feeling all right. If I start chatting, I'm much better. Yeah. If I chat with people, I'm much better. Yeah. But I do the same at the weekends as you. So I'll get up later. I'll drink at the night time the night before. I'll get up later. I'll feel like shit. It'll take me ages to get my shit together. And any excuse not to do anything much at all, I'll do it. And all of that makes me feel like shit.
Yeah.
And it's like, and I can't help myself because it's like,
Yeah.
well, I've been working, I'm fighting these demons every day.
Yeah.
I deserve to do nothing, and then I do nothing, and it makes me so much worse. And it's like,
Yeah.
fucking hell, why do I have to go through this shit?
I mean, like one of the things I used to do, which I haven't done so much recently, is I used to call them like buzzy things and like grounding things. You can do buzzy things or you can do grounding things. So my buzzy things used to be going out shopping, buying buy a CD, buy a T-shirt. Something easy. Just jump in your car, go off. Or what else? Just sort of like going out for something sweet, buying the McDonald's and all that. All those sort of things. They're buzzy. They're like really tempting. You do them, a bit like a high, I suppose. You go and do them. They're not. They sort of do them. And then afterwards, you feel like shit. And if at the end of the day that's all you've done, you feel like crap. But like grounding things, I like taking my dogs out was the ultimate thing because that always used to make me feel it was exercise out in the fresh air. Really enjoyed it, all that sort of stuff. And at the end of the day, I thought, well, I've taken dogs out and stuff. I've achieved something. It was a grounding thing. I've got a bit fitter, But now one of my dogs is not well. And my other dog, and I find those things are harder to get yourself to do. Those grounding things, they're harder to get. So I've not been taking dogs out. I've had an excuse because one of them is ill and I'm upset. So the other one could be taken out.
I know, but you're like, oh, the dog's ill and I'm upset, so like, I've got a reason to be fucked off and to do nothing. And you're like, and I know full well that's going to make me feel like shit, and I should feel like shit because I'm a cunt. That's what my brain does. Like,
But I think it's called adahonia or something. It's like where it's not laziness. It's just sort of like you find it hard to do anything. And if you should do stuff, but you don't do it, and it's like torture because you're in between.
Yeah, I know,
Stuff.
and it don't feel nice because you're sitting in that in between, knowing you're meant to be doing something, and you're like, I get it, I do that all the time. It's quite nice to hear someone else saying that actually, because I do that all the time, and it's like, yeah, I know I should be doing something. I know I'm making myself feel really bad, and potentially, anytime I'm making myself feel bad, I could spiral.
Yeah.
I could tip. So I know that I'm being an idiot, but at the same time, I don't like myself enough to do anything about it.
Yeah.
And you're like, and then you just go, fuck it. I've got to take the dog out, otherwise my wife's going to have the ump that I haven't taken the dog out. And if I lie, then I'll feel really bad about myself.
Yeah.
So I do it, and then I feel better.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've started the day now.
But that's the main thing. Why can't you do these? Why can't you do these things that makes you feel better? What is the? I mean, even going for a walk, I thought, I say walking is quite a good thing because it's easy. You just go out the door, but I can't do that sometimes.
No.
Then when you get out and do it, it's like, oh yeah, why didn't I do this earlier? Why don't I do it every week?
See, it was funny though, right? I was discussing this at my psychotherapy group, and I was kind of like saying it in these terms, like, oh, I'm so shit. Why is this so fucking hard? And like, why, and I go for that. I'm like, why fucking me? Why me? And she was like, you do know everyone has that. Like everyone has to force themselves up to go to work. Everyone has to.
I think you got all these successful people like on Facebook and stuff like that, or you like pumped up with the tattoo gym and all that. And you got all that. I find there's all that on my one anyway, and then you feel like even more shit, don't you? Like, but
it's all a lie, though, isn't
just
it?
like. Yeah, it's a lie. Yeah,
it's like they're just better at kicking themselves up the arse than you are. And some people, like Brad, gets up at like 4 o'clock in the morning every day, but he don't like it.
No fucking.
And I get up in the last possible minute.
Yeah.
So you'd have the highs, and was it every time you went into hospital off the back of a high then?
Yeah.
Pretty much. So you learnt quite quickly that the highs weren't good then. It's like, oh, fucking hell, I'm in hospital again.
Yeah. So there was a couple of times when it wasn't a high, it was a low.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So tell me about that.
Yeah, well...
if you want it.
Yeah, there's like... I went on a flat, I got like a council flat, and I was on my own, and I was fed up and all that sort of stuff, and I... same thing, you can work yourself, like as you say, down into a low.
Yeah.
And I took an overdose. Yeah, so it's quite a 2 load of pills that I had, drunk a can of lager to make sure. And then as soon as I'd done that, and I think it happens quite a lot, you think, shit, what have I
Yeah.
done? And then so I left the front door open. I mean, you know, and I phoned the ambulance, and then the next thing I knew, I was in hospital. But yeah, to pump my stomach and that sort of stuff. But I think the reason why I did that is because I don't know. I was just really depressed, like really. But also, I think a lot of the time it's not just because you're depressed that you do that sort of thing. It's that you're not coping. You can't cope. And I kept on saying, I can't cope with this. I was nothing. There was nothing particularly that wrong, terrible. Although I had. Because the thing is, it goes into sort of like goes into sort of like with depression, anxiety, and going high. It's normally that you have a high, then you have a low, then you get anxious, and then it can be a high again, and sometimes it can be that for years like that. So 1 minute you're dealing with a high, which you sort of feel
So
quite
over
good.
what kind of time period? Like days, hours? Like how does that normally work? That
Well, normally that's sort of like over a few. I suppose you might have a couple of weeks. Well, for me, it might be. I feel quite elevated, chatty, telling jokes, all that sort of stuff. Maybe for like a month, might be a
oh
month,
really?
and then I might have after that because I've enjoyed that. I get like either a low. Yeah, normally get a bit of a low. I mean, I've been mainly low for about 5 years, really. I've not really had. I've had a couple of little highs, not major,
Right.
but mainly it's. And but the thing is, what do you call a low? Is again because some people you can't go looking at anyone else's head. Can
You
you?
can only do it by your own standards, can't you?
Yeah, so you might say you're really low and
Yeah.
you see unstable, but you might feel a lot better than me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, totally.
So
So it's just for you. It's like I want because like, I'll do it to like my last really bad period normally, and I'm like I'm not as
Yeah.
low as that. Like that is fucking proper low. I'm low, but I'm not like where I was low. So
Yeah.
basically, and that helps me to be a bit better because I'm like well, that's not a proper one.
yeah,
But it's quite easy to go from that I'm a bit low, and then you're like no I'm alright. I'm alright. Oh I'm not alright. I'm really not alright. Well, fucking,
Yeah.
I've got to go see the psychiatrist and I'm not
Yeah.
alright. And you don't really know it because you think you're coping, but you're not. It's such a fucking balance, isn't it? It's
I
such
think
a nightmare.
if you're in that sort of I can't remember the right word, adahonia or whatever, that's what I've been in recently. That is a really frustrating state to be in. I mean, luckily I'm managing to do everything, even though I don't want to.
Yeah.
But if you're I can imagine if this goes any longer, it's going to get really frustrating because there's no reason why I can't do these things. And it's like, I wasn't like that, I wasn't like that a couple of months ago. I might have been anxious.
Nah, but that's when I
Yeah.
kind of always come back to like, you just got to don't fucking beat yourself up. Like, you and I, we've got a diagnosed illness. Like, if you feel like that, it's because you've got an illness and you shouldn't beat yourself up over it. You just don't do fuck all for a bit. That's
Yeah.
that's totally how I do it. I'll go, like we were talking about with kids, like you just do what you can. So if you feel like that, I used to really beat myself up, and now I'm just like, I went to work, my kids have got food. Like I might not be the greatest dad for a few weeks because I'm not engaging that much, but actually I'm not fucking killing myself, and I'm not constantly thinking about wanting to kill myself. That'll do for now.
Yeah.
And I just don't beat myself up on it. It's taken me a long time to get there, where it's taken me 34 years to get to that point where I'm
Yeah.
like, it just is what it is. I get like this sometimes. I'm not going to fucking feel guilty about it, and I'm not going to beat myself up. And that's what I found. There's loads of little bits like that, those little changes, and that makes me pull out of it quicker.
Yeah.
So I'm like, so what? Dog don't get walked. Dog don't die because he doesn't have a walk for a couple of weeks. So what?
I suppose it's a good idea. Like if you're racking your brain, so I've been like trying to think, how can I get out of this? I'll try this. I'll try that. Try
Yeah, but that makes it worse, though.
Yeah. So just to say, well, sorry, today's going to be like.
Today I'm not doing anything, and maybe tomorrow I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
But when I feel alright, I'll do something.
Yeah.
Because all the time you're going, oh, well, I should be doing this, should be doing that, and I still do it, but I'm much better than I was. All the time you're doing that, you're making yourself more ill, I think, because you're sending your brain all over there and there and there and there.
But I think it's like this.
I think it's the fighting. I don't fight.
Yeah.
I don't fight. I walk with. You know, like you said it earlier about you seeing the faults. You don't fight the faults. You go, all right, I'm having those faults.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's fine. I just have them.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. It really helps me.
Yeah.
I
bear that in mind.
Yeah, acceptance. That's what happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Then I'll do fuck all today, and that's fine. You know.
Yeah.
There's food. You know, the bills are paid. Like I don't really have to do anything.
Yeah.
And then in the other days, you go to you know, and then you fight it more on the days you have to go to work. But I just don't fight it in the same way anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I know what you mean.
That's really it's done me a world of good.
I think, but the thing is, it's like when you find the right thing, if you're like it for a day or like most of a day, but then you find the right thing to do or the right way to think that gets you out of it, you're so glad.
Yeah.
You know? But sometimes, as you say, sometimes you just have to decide that I'm not going to stress myself out. Yeah.
It's changing like daily habits. I think ain't always easy to do.
No.
But then sometimes, like I've noticed, it's quite nice to be on the right side of it all.
Yeah.
There's like a bit of a scuzzy sort of comfort in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's not always easy. If you let yourself do it, it's not too bad. But when there's other pressures of like, oh, you've got to go and do this, you've got to go and do that, like, it can be a lot harder to sort of swing out of that.
Yeah.
It's so comfortable. Sometimes.
It's like the dark fog is like it's really alluring.
Yeah.
That you know, I give up. I'm just gonna go to bed for a week, and it's like it's like really alluring, and that's totally what you want to do, and that's all you want to do, and then you do it. Then after a couple of days, you're like, I'm just gonna sit in it now. And like, that's the problem. You do it like, don't beat yourself up, but you do have to you have to be sensible as well.
Yeah.
So don't, like, if you're not beating yourself up for a couple of days, that's all right. But if you're sitting in bed and you're not, and you're like that, like for a few days, then you probably need to go to the doctors.
Yeah.
You know, that's kind of what I start doing. My wife will now, she'll go, it's been more than a couple of days. Like, what's going on? Are you really not well now?
Yeah.
Rather than me just going, no, it's all right, I'm just going to... Because you can't sit, like... I think, like, mental health is... you can't sit, you can't relax with it.
Yeah.
You can't just go, oh, I'm mentally ill. Fuck it, you know, I give up. You can't. You don't fight it, but you got to work on it. That's what I always say. You got to work on it, like you work in a fucking program. Always working on it.
Well, Helen said the other week, polishing the mirror. Every time you polish the mirror, it just gets a little bit.
Yeah.
You just take a little bit off. I like that. It sort of resonates.
Because and then when you're not well, the mirror's fogging over, and then your brain starts telling you fucking stupid shit. And you're like, yeah, fuck it, fuck it. I'm gonna get loads of booze tonight. You know, like, fuck it.
Mine's Doritos. I love a large
Lately,
pack of Doritos.
I cannot stop watching the hot Doritos. I can't leave them alone. It's all I think about.
Oh, the blue
Yeah.
one, the cool ones. Oh.
Yeah, I haven't had them for a little while actually. Yeah,
I've
I love
lied you now, haven't I?
but the thing is, they're designed to be addictive.
Yeah.
There's a reason why we want them. That scares me a little bit. But then, to be fair, Doritos are better than heroin, aren't they? So
I'm not really like that with
Yeah.
foods.
worst things to get
Especially,
into.
Yeah.
I'm always like, no, food don't ever do it for me. I want
That's all I
to.
think about. I'm hungry now. I was hungry when I was eating my dinner. That's constant. But I'm trying to fill a void.
Yeah, I tend to. I like to just get off my face, but I can't really get off my face anymore. I'm really learning recently is that I've really starting to realise that booze is really not good for me.
Yeah.
It's like
I think
Sunday.
it's so. I mean, I don't drink at all. I think it's really fashionable now, and like so many people drink now excessively, Like, never. I mean, people used to drink before, but when I could drink, because I don't drink because it makes you tired because of medication. I think it makes up. So it's unfortunate. Perhaps I'm just saying that because of that, but I just think, too many people are drinking and using drugs and stuff like that to cover it all up. But that's just because what I have to do. I'm probably a bit jealous because I like to get off my face regularly, but I can't because I'll get ill or my medication won't work. And I won't be able to go to work.
Yeah, that's why I can't. Like, I used to drink every day, but I always think you get different. Like, there's people like us who we would drink and drugs for a reason, and it very rarely is it just to have a good time. It's to fucking like quieten down that wanker in your head, or to escape from the horrible feelings or your situation. Whereas some people are lucky enough that they can just drink and have a laugh and bounce. And I'm like, I've never been that person.
So you try in the bath, with 9-inch nails.
So
this is one of your things you were saying that helps you. At what point does it take you to get to this stage, or is it just something you do sort of every now and then?
Every day normally. Normally I wash every day.
That's not bad going, is it? Some mental health problems. I don't manage that.
I had my first shower in 5 days today.
I could quite easily. I'm not going to say, but like, I can. I have been known to like not bother for a week before. Quite.
That's all right. As long as you're not getting sweaty, it don't matter, does it?
That's it.
Yeah. Well.
So you
run a
bath and you listen to music in the bath, right?
Yeah, listen to music in the bath, and it's used to start it off with sort of like trying to do meditation and stuff, with a lot of relaxing music or no music, and I used to burn incense and have a candle, or whatever. But I just do find the thing that most helps me to reset if I'm stressed, if I'm anxious, if I'm high, is to listen to a 9-inch Nails or everyone.
Just say, what is it then? Is it because it's kind of like, it's cathartic in a way because it's like loud and not all 9-inch Nails.
Your body's in a relaxed state, I suppose, but then you're choosing to listen to that. So it's almost, maybe it's like control. Maybe.
No, perhaps it's sort of the lyrics is what I believe in, what I'm angry about, and I've probably got anger in me. But also it's because it, like drugs, I can't take drugs and things like that. It puts you in a nice place. Like I'm in the bath, and it's just. It just sort of clears my head, and I've done meditation before and watched my thoughts and all that, and but I think that everyone's a bit weird in their own way. Not everyone's the same. Not everyone should meditate in the same way, and it's just a different way of me, just the way I've chosen to relax. And I just think of myself maybe of a bit of a monster or whatever, and just do it differently to other people.
It's whatever works, though. Isn't it really is.
That's what I'm learning, especially from doing this. Is everyone's got these little tips and tricks and stuff.
Yeah, that's what we like.
I love it because it's like that might not even be the whole thing. Like for me with the bath thing, I actively try and avoid baths because I know I'm going to relax that much. Like if I know that I've got to sit up and watch TV or whatever, I'll just have a shower. But like Kate knows, if I'm like in a really bad situation, she'll go, "No, have a bath. Like really, like just go and sort yourself out, kind of thing." Because I know I'll either fall asleep or I'll be so relaxed that I just won't be able. I'll be good for nothing, like for afterwards.
Yeah.
So is that because you're like everything's quite stressful for you, very young children, like hard work and that?
Yeah.
So like, if you were to let yourself switch down, it's like you'll never kind of.
Yeah,
you've got to keep yourself in that state of.
Yeah, I feel like if I stop, I won't get back up again.
Yeah. How regularly do you manage to stop?
That's the problem.
No, or don't you know? Are you too scared to? So
I don't know. Not very often.
Because if you stopped, you might, when you come back again, you might be function better.
Yeah, I know. I'm fairly.
Right.
My gut's saying that is right. But what I've done now is I've started to find false relaxation in drink. Yeah. So like because I'm still alert, and then it's just that nice amount of relaxedness.
Yeah,
I get a little bit of extra confidence, which I used to have all the time when I used to drink and take drugs all the time. I'm kind of relearning about myself without the false confidence. And it kind of switches off when I go asleep or I fall asleep in sort of comatose state. And I've learnt now that certain drinks I can have and still go to work the next day. So I'm kind of in a bit of a trap with it. It's manageable.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to drive either, do you? So
no, not at the moment. That's a big problem. When I used to drive all the time, I didn't drink as much because I spill it. But
that would happen. I'm really fucked off. I had something I really wanted to ask you. and it's really totally gone, and it was really good. But Simon's done like sweat lodges and shit like that. I'm quite interested
Oh,
in
right,
sweat lodge. I'd like to do one.
What, like a sauna kind of thing?
No,
It's like a spiritual thing, like a shamanic shaman
Oh, I like the
thing.
sound of that.
yeah, I do.
What'd you do?
You have to take
It's
all your
basically-
clothes off when you wrestle.
Hang on a minute.
In mud.
That's not what
yeah.
I signed up for.
No, it's basically, I used to go to this centre, which was like a shamanic thing. The whole idea, I think the idea of shamanic or shamanism or whatever, it's like a way of something to believe in. It's a way of living, you know, like, and it's all spiritual and stuff and all stuff like that. But it did my head in, to be honest. But one of the things you do is they set up a frame of like bamboo, like it's probably about as big as this room, like round, maybe a bit smaller. You sit around, you do like they build a fire, a really hot fire, and they put these sacred stones in it, and then beforehand you bless them and all that. You sort of do some sort of ritual on them. You sit in this lodge with just like your pants on, pretty much, or whatever.
Can you do it in the nude?
There are ones that do it in the nude, proper ones. I'll find out for you.
Just being silly. Sorry, go on.
You want to go and do? I want to go and do this.
I'd like to do it.
But then then you sit around and they close it all up, like, because it's got loads of covers all over it, sheets and stuff. And then they put it one every sort of 5 or 10 minutes. They put a stone in, and it steams in water. One of these stones, and then you do all this sort of like primal scream. You do bring in the elements and the animals and things like that. So I did that. I've done that 2 or 3 times. I went on a retreat as well. Yeah, but you got to be a bit careful, I think, with it, because I was quite confused by it, because I went on a retreat as well for a week in Dartmoor, and I found it when I came back. We'd done all this weird one of things on this retreat, which is fair enough. But you got to fit back into society, go work and stuff.
Yeah.
And after standing in a stream, hitting a drum and chanting, to go back to sort of having to go to work and things like that, I found it like, well, what are you meant to do then? What's going on, you know? And it really confused me, because I was a bit confused, because another thing with bipolar, I think you can get quite religious, obviously, with the Jesus thing, but also sort of I've been quite confused sometimes by my beliefs in God.
In go all in
not,
kind
or whatever.
of thing. Yeah, I understand that. It makes sense.
So have you ever, this is what I was going to ask, so have you ever really made sense of it? Because, like, the thing is, I think with bipolar, it's not necessarily, like, for me, like, I can kind of map back why I feel the way I feel, and I can make sense of it. But I don't know if you can with bipolar, can you? Because it's not necessarily like a reason, is it? I think it can just happen.
It's I mean, it's with psychotherapy and stuff like that. But it's sort of like there's theories like with the adult and the child and that sort of stuff, and I've talked all about that sort of stuff, and I mean, I think that the cannabis smoking might have been a trigger to my illness, but not totally the reason. And I think that I'm a lot different now than what I was before I was ill, and it's because I was following a wrong path for myself. I was doing computers, which I hate computers now, but I was doing computer studies, and I was just a lot of the things I was doing, I was on the wrong path. So that's what's caused me to have this massive breakdown. So in the end, I had to work on myself. Like, I wouldn't even want to go walking through the woods, first of all, because I'd worried about my trainers getting dirty. But now I don't care, and things like that after I come out. So it's sort of like I've changed a lot as a person. But I think the reason before that, you know, the reason why I ended up having the breakdown and stuff like that, you know, I love them to bits now and everything else, but there's lots of reasons why anyway. But there's lots of reasons why I
Comes down to family, right?
yeah.
Everything fucking comes down to family. And like, I don't think your family go out of their way to make you fucking fuck you up. Like, as we were saying, you know, like when you're a parent, sometimes it's just doing what you can. But everything always comes back to your
Thing is,
family,
we're all
doesn't it?
just like
So frustrating.
lumps of bone and skin, just trying to work it out, aren't we?
Yeah.
Essentially,
Yeah.
at some stage, you become parents, and then you're working it out, and you're working it out for your little one as well.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of like it's a wonder that anyone gets it anywhere near right.
I know,
as well.
I know.
It's crazy.
I know. And you kind of have to take the blame out of it, don't you?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely,
Because
yeah.
if you have that blame, and like I still kind of go through that thinking about like stuff with my old man, and when I stop blaming him, I start to feel a lot better.
Yeah.
Because I kind of think about myself, and like I know that I don't always get it right,
Yeah.
and you've got to just kind of put it into a bit of perspective. But it's it's difficult. But it all comes back to there, doesn't it? It's fucking annoying.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing is, when you grow up, you're always in the wrong. When you're little, you think when you grow up, you'll be like, everyone will respect you, and sort
And
of
everything
like,
will be right.
But it won't. That's not what the case.
No, don't. In many ways, it gets a bit harder.
Yeah.
But I feel like I'm coming through it a little bit now. For me, I feel like I'm pushing through the other side a bit now.
Yeah.
Especially
What, as a parent or as a
yeah,
kid?
my kids are getting older, so it is a bit less stressful. And now I feel like I'm also punching through the other side of me a little bit. I feel much more secure in myself and more confident in myself. That it's kind of like when I never really have before. So I
Yeah.
feel like I've pushed through the wall a little bit. Not always. Like you must have days when you're having a really fucking bad day and you don't really know why, but you're a bit of a mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I still have those days, of course, but they are less. They're certainly less than they were before.
Yeah. Just it's. I have less bad days, but I'm a lot older now, so I can't do as much with my good days, But no, I mean I think there's like it's not just. I mean, my family think it was just purely me smoking cannabis for that weekend that made me ill. So anything I do wrong or upset them or anything like that, it's because I'm ill or because I took cannabis. So it's. But I think I've got a good relationship with mum and dad now. But there's it's certainly partially they should say like what they think happened, might be down to them slightly. But it's it didn't really help. I mean, you got to take responsibility yourself for your own shit as well. That's part of it as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and if you don't, then it just makes you feel worse anyway.
Yeah.
It's funny because like my mum has been really good. She'll go, well, maybe I did that, maybe I did this, and she'll be really open and honest about how she probably played into things, and then she feels guilty that maybe she didn't protect me from other things, and like it's good to get that acknowledgement, because I think a lot of parents, especially of our parents' generation, like they don't want to admit that they did anything wrong. Like if they admitted that they did something wrong, because they probably feel guilty as shit. Even if they don't say it, there's going to be guilt in there because they'll know that they could have done better.
Yeah.
Like as parents are always going to feel like that. But there is a generation of people just don't fucking admit.
Thing is, in their
won't
defence,
admit
they've
to
had
it.
like a whole 50 years since the 50s of TV being like wife at home, apron on, dad comes in, puts his hat on the thing, suitcase, kids doing this, mow the lawn, like whatever the word is, like forced a view of what a family should be, what people should be like, and everything else.
Yeah.
And it's like it's criminal, really, when you think about it. It's complete control, and people think if they can't live up to that particular standard, then they're failing. But it's not the case.
Yeah,
It's like,
and like if you admit it, then you failed.
Yeah.
And I hate that. I hate that people like don't admit that they've done something wrong and that they've failed at it, because it's all right.
It's all right for them to do that.
Honest about it.
It's all right for them to do that because it's easy. It's easy for them to live, not doing that. But for everyone else, it's like they've got to deal with all what's going. What to do with all this stuff?
Yeah. Totally right.
So it's cutting.
No, of course not. It's funny. I was talking to Mark at work. I had really fucking full-on conversations at work in a van, and Mark, and I kind of came to this realization that like our dads, like they came out, their dads fought in a fucking war.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, to most people's standards, they're a hero. They've been through something proper. Then our dads come along and they're like, well, I haven't done anything like that.
No.
Like, I'm never going to match up to that level of man.
Yeah.
You know, like someone who's fought in a war and has been through this massive adversity. Like, you know, and look at me, I'm fucking nothing. Like, I've not experienced anything like that, so I can't possibly be as good. And I was thinking that must seep into the brain.
That's such a
Yeah.
simple thing, but if you think about it, that's across our whole
Yeah.
spectrum of humankind.
Yeah.
Everyone is affected by that.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
That's crazy,
I
isn't it?
know, that's what occurred to me, and I'd never really thought about it in those terms.
Wow.
Oh dear.
Rolls ran quick, didn't it?
That was really fast.
It was. Rolls ran really quick.
Oh, mate, it's been really
Oh,
nice.
sorry, that's really enjoyed that.
Was it good?
It was absolutely fascinating.
Really hit a lot of, resonated, like a lot.
Yeah,
with me.
oh, yeah.
Yeah, oh.
Really has. Really, really has.
That's for me in a big
yeah.
way.
I feel a bit sort of, don't know, very emotional.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do, mate, yeah. Yeah, it's been
I
lovely
thought you
talking
might
to you,
have.
mate. Yeah. Yeah, it's nuts.
Yeah, I just I say that's all inside. That was inside me for like years. It's only recently, and thanks for letting me bring it all out,
Mate,
because
you're
I
more
want
than
everyone
I
to
just
know,
feel
really.
like it's an honour.
Yeah, oh, totally. I feel like really lucky. Really,
Yeah,
really
that's
lucky.
what I feel. But I also think the people who are listening to this and who are experiencing that, like, it's just not, especially to that kind of level, like, people just don't talk about it in that extent, do they?
No.
Like, you get occasional people who talk about it, but often it's someone like Stephen Fry and it's someone who's famous and it doesn't seem real.
Yeah.
Which is why I really wanted you to come on, because it's like, you know, just normal people talking about it. And it's like, yeah, people fucking have to deal with this shit.
Yeah, yeah, but also I think it's not that. It's like letting lots of people know. Hopefully, I get out to my old mates and mum and dad, and you know, obviously help other people as well, sort of thing.
I think
So,
it will. I think
Yeah.
it definitely will.
But I'll tell you
Yeah.
what, if you want them to hear it, you just go, oh, I did a podcast, you have to have a listen.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's a really good chance to give them, for them to hear it a bit more
yeah,
in real terms. I
Yeah.
think it's worth it.
Yeah, and if
Definitely,
they do, if anyone is listening, and just be open to the fact that everyone makes mistakes, and if we're open and honest with everyone, and we start talking, and there's no reason why everyone can't just move forward with things and go from there.
It is all just about talking this.
It
There's
is.
nothing much more to it. It really is. Well,
Fascinating.
cheers, mate. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.
yeah. Thank you. Yeah,
Cheers,
that was
dude.
good.